In this video I'm going to recreate the makeup I did for my beautiful friend Tara's wedding last year. Whether you're a budding bride or perhaps been asked to do a friend's wedding makeup, there are a few tips, tricks and insights into this very special makeup look. So let's start. Okay, so first of all on the day we applied the Elemis Pro Radiance Illuminating Flash Balm.
It smells really good.
Yeah, this smells lovely and it's got a nice sort of glowy finish, but it's not shiny, so it's quite good for a primer before you put on any foundation, and it just kind of gives a nice glowy look, which is what you really want on your wedding day. You want to look full of the joys of spring, really sort of glowing lip within, that sort of look, rather than too matte, although you do want the makeup to stay all day and not have to keep reapplying too much. Do you find you have to do much applying?
No, I was thinking about this. I think we maybe just did one top up
of
just a little bit of mattifying and blusher.
Yeah. Maybe lipstick.
Lipstick a couple of times.
Lots of kissing on the day.
But no, it actually stayed really well. I don't know if that's because of the primer as well, because I wouldn't normally use that.
It was quite a warm day actually, wasn't it?
Really warm.
And there was lots of standing outside in the sunlight having photos, so you do want to have as much longevity to your base particularly, and I think that's what we spent the most amount of time on it. Right, on to foundations. So we tried a few foundations, but then we ended up with the Chanel Perfection Lumiere foundation, which actually I had myself, and we sort of tried it together, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to apply this sort of in thin layers, starting from the centre of the face and then working out. Tara's got really lovely Celtic skin, which has got freckles on it, and I just think when you're getting married you need to look like yourself. You don't want to look like you're overdone, so it's nice to show those freckles through the foundation, and this is quite nice. Although it's a kind of medium to full coverage when you build it up, it's quite light, so you can still see Tara's natural skin through the foundation, which I think is really nice for a bride or any natural look, but it's got a mattifying quality, this foundation, so it will still last.
It definitely lasted all day, didn't it?
Yeah. So I've just nearly finished off foundation, and you can see it's very, very natural, and we're just going to take it a little bit down the edge of the jaw, just to make sure it blends in with the skin, but you can still see, if you just turn and look a little bit more, that's it. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but you can still see sort of her freckles and her natural skin tone underneath the foundation, but it's just given a really nice smooth base. Next for concealer, and under the eyes we're just going to use a little bit of the Clinique airbrush concealer, which is in the shade Fair. Now this is a nice light concealer, not too thick for under the eyes, you want it to be as sort of fine as possible to look up to. Perfect for any darkness. I mean, on the day you were pretty calm. You know, the build up to the wedding is a busy time.
Actually, yeah, the day was okay because we left plenty of time to do everything. Although towards the end it did get a little bit
frantic.
Pushed.
Yeah, the more you can practice, that was what I think was good for us. We knew what we were doing. We knew all the products were good, and there was no surprises because we'd well practiced. I think we did that twice, maybe?
Yeah, at least
twice. Which just meant that we kind of knew what was the next step as we were going along, and yeah, it's amazing how much you get interrupted as a bride, isn't it, on the day?
Yeah, definitely. All sorts of things you won't even think of. Family just wanting to say hello and popping by, and you think, well, not right now.
Yeah, see you soon, I'm a bit busy. It's good to have enough time, definitely. You want to allow more time than you think you need, because you'll have to be interrupted at some point.
Definitely, I think we got there at least 4 or 5 hours, didn't we, before, to do hair and makeup and get everything ready.
Yeah.
And at the end it came together, but if we'd left any less time it would not have been enough.
No. And you normally find that someone says, oh, can you do my makeup, or can I have a bit of that, or whatever.
Or mother of the bride.
Mother of the bride, yeah. Or even like, you know, groomsman's like, I've got a spot, can you cover it for me? That definitely happened on the day. So, you know, got to allow for all of that as well. Next, just to cover any little blemishes, I'm just going to use a fine brush and the Clinique Anti-Blemish Concealer, which again, pretty popular on the day. Anyone who had a blemish, a bit of this. And it's just good to get a high pigment concealer on these just so that they're well covered. Then just to set the concealer, I'm going to use a little bit of powder, and I'm going to be using Tara's own Bare Minerals Ready foundation, which has got an SPF 15, which we'll use over the top just to set the foundation as well, as sun protection it's a tricky one because we all know that there's a bit of a flashback situation if you get too high a SPF on your face, but if you don't protect on a sunny day, you don't want to have a red nose in your photos. So it's one of those, you need a little bit but not too much. So I think an SPF 15 is probably quite good. And then obviously don't be in the sun too much. Next I'm going to go on to eyes, and first of all we're going to prime the eyes, and we're going to use the Urban Decay eye primer in the original formula. Use my favourite eyeshadow, which actually we discovered together.
We did. It was a special day.
Yeah, special day, special times. Naked Lunch, which if you've seen any of my other tutorials, it's one of my favourite eyeshadows ever from MAC, which is a lovely champagne, pinky but natural shade. And as Tara wears it a lot anyway, in normal life, actually it was appropriate to use on her wedding day, so it wasn't too different, because I think you should look like yourself normally, but the best version of yourself. I think that's kind of the look that we want to go for on our wedding day, just so that no one goes, oh, who is this strange person walking down the aisle? You want to look like yourself. So first of all I'm going to just do a wash of colour on the eyelid.
I think as well, we've all been to weddings where someone's got way too much makeup on, or it's heavy, or it doesn't suit their colourings.
Absolutely.
So that's really what we wanted to avoid, wasn't it?
Yeah, because you know, if we went for a really strong lip or you know, very heavy eyeliner, I know you were very concerned that you didn't want to wear a thick eyeliner.
No.
I mean, we like definition, obviously we want to have shape, especially on a day when you're going to have a lot of photographs taken, and you know, you want your eyes to be really popping, but you don't want to have, again, an unnatural looking makeup for the day compared to what you would normally wear. If you wear a lot of makeup, you wear a lot of eyeliner, then go for it, because that's you. But it's advisable to go for something along the lines of your normal makeup.
It's not really the day to experiment.
No, definitely not. You don't want to look back, you know, 10 years time and think, what was I thinking? Oh, and the more natural obviously you can go, the better.
I seem to remember wanting to try and buy an orangey lip stick, and you were advised against that, and you were right. A bit more peachy.
Well, we went kind of corally, which definitely suited you, but it kind of was a longer, natural, sort of
much more
line.
subtle.
Yeah, more subtle. So I'm just going to blend in the edges with a clean 217 fluffy brush. So then for a crease shade, we're just using this taupey mink shade from Elizabeth Arden, and we're just going to go very softly into the crease. Not too heavy, not too smoky, just to give the outer edge of the eye a bit of definition. Bring it slightly along the lash line. And then go back with a clean brush, just blend in the edges. A little trick you can do is just hold a tissue under the eye, just so that you don't get the eyeshadow onto this part of the skin where you've already concealed. Then to define the eyes a bit more, we're just going to go with a soft brown eyeliner, which we're going to use the Urban Decay Glide On eyeliner in the shade Whiskey, which is quite a matte shade. There's not too much in the way of shimmer. And we're very finely going across the lash line, as close to the root as possible. So I've just applied the eyeliner on both eyes, and now we're going to smudge it to soften it a little bit. So I'm going to use my smudger brush from Zoeva, my favourite. I'm just going to work along the lash line so it blends in, and then as I've winged the eyeliner slightly, just take it up and diagonally out, sort of in a 45-degree angle, which is following the natural line of the eyelid. So then for a bit of highlight under the eyebrow bone, I'm just using a little bit of MAC Vanilla Pigment. Just using a MAC flat brush, which really helps blend that in. So now I've done that highlight under the eyebrow, I'm just going to go back to the actual brows. So first of all I'm just going to brush through and then lightly fill them in again, not too much, they look unnatural, just again a bit more polished.
I was just saying I think my eyebrows are a bit thicker now than they were on
Yeah.
the wedding day.
Again, just really tiny strokes, and I'm using my Bobbi Brown Saddle eyeshadow again. Conveniently, Tara's very similar colouring to me, so didn't have to buy too much makeup for the day. So you bought a few little items, which kind of went with the colour theme actually on the day.
Yeah.
So you had sort of a corally, orangey theme,
Yeah.
which kind of got tied in a little bit with the makeup. Obviously you didn't go crazy and go tangerine, but
Nope.
the sort of corally pinky colour played its part, I suppose, in your blush and your lipstick, didn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was a bit of an investment, but you actually have used them since, haven't you? Not just for the day.
Yeah, I was saying I would choose to sort of, if I'm going for a night out or to someone else's wedding even, anything that's just not work or every day, I would work on recreating this sort of look because it's natural enough and I can do it now, so
Yeah.
I've got all the key kit.
So then just to set those eyebrows in place, we're just going to use a little bit of clear mascara over the top. So I just cut away then to allow Tara to actually do her own mascara because she's very good at doing that herself, and actually on the day I didn't want to be poking her in the eye with the mascara wand. So I just got to just quickly use the Dior Primer Lash, which is a great product, and Tara's got amazing eyelashes, but this really helps give the shape and structure of the eyelashes before you go in with some waterproof mascara, as it's wedding day. So it's cry day, emotional day, maybe a hot day, and you didn't want to have any fallout onto the lower lash line, any transfer to get, you know, the pan dry and shadows. So again, I got Tara to do her own mascara, she could do that herself, so I'm just going to cut back to that. Okay, so Tara has applied her mascara on top of the Dior primer, and while we're just allowing the corner lashes to dry a little bit and get a bit tacky with the glue, I'm just going to go back to face. So I'm just going to set the concealer now that we know there's going to be no more eyeshadow sort of going on, with the Bare Minerals Ready powder that Tara owned already, which was obviously a good colour for her, and it has the SPF in it, so it's good to help protect the face from the sun because it was a summer wedding. Then just for a little bit of contouring definition, I'm using my MAC Mineralised powder. I'm just going to go get Tara to do a brilliant duck face. I'm just going to get in underneath her cheekbones. Again, it's going to warm up the face a little bit. Again, take it down the sides of the neck and a little bit down the centre so that it kind of gives the continuity to the rest of the body. Because Tara's in a strapless dress, so we want to make sure that we didn't have any edges. And you could blend a bit further down than you would obviously if you had straps or anything. You don't want to get makeup on the dress.
I think on the day as well we had a little top up when I was in the dress, didn't we? And put tissues
Yes.
along the top of it.
Just
so.
in case.
Yeah.
No makeup on a white dress. Okay, this is very light. Nothing too heavy. I think hard contouring is definitely not a bridal look. Unless that's how your face looks every day, I think the wedding day is not the day to try it. Use a pair of tweezers and just squeeze them in the middle, and then you can just drop them along the lash line. Just turn here a little bit. On the very outer edge, as close as you can get to the lash line, and just use, you can use the tweezers just close together so you don't scratch, just to push them down. And again, the glue is white when it's wet, but it will dry clear. Okay, so we've put those eyelashes on, and we just cut a pair of regular eyelashes in half rather than buying corner ones, which you can do, but then you can only really get the corner ones in the definition, volume, length, whatever that they provide. So this way you can get the length and style of eyelashes you want and just chop them in half, and then you actually get two sets of corner lashes rather than one. So while they're just drying off, we're just going to go to blush, and we went and found this one again to match sort of the lipstick, which is the MAC Style blusher, which actually I ended up buying later because it was so pretty. It's got a lovely kind of glowy sheen on it, which is again lovely for a bride, really lovely for spring, summer, any day really. I think it's just gorgeous, and it just gave a nice lift to the skin, but quite natural peachy shade rather than too pink, which is not really your vibe, is it?
Maybe a bit in winter, but
yeah,
not so much for
not so much, no. And just blend in all the edges. Go back with a powder brush just to make sure you don't see where the blusher starts and ends, as it wants to look as natural as possible. Blushing bride. So then for lips, we went for a corally peachy shade, as we were saying, which went with the blusher. But first we're going to line the lips with an Urban Decay lip liner in the shade Streak, which brought out a really pretty colour in the lipstick actually, even though it's not an exact match. So I'm just going to define Tara's lips. Again, the more layers sort of you can do of lipstick, the better, because you're going to be smooching and eating and drinking, and you know, we don't want to have a drying lipstick, but we want to make sure that it stays as long as we can. Just sort of slightly fill in the lips slightly, just to give it a bit of a stain, so it blends in the edge of the lip liner, because you don't want to have a stark line. Okay, so I've just done the lip liner and just blended it out through the lips. So I'm just going to get Tara to just blot quickly, just so again we mattify that layer, sort of secure it in place before we do the lipstick. Okay, so for lipstick, we tried loads of lipsticks in Boots. I think we had about an hour, maybe longer, looking for coral lipsticks, and we eventually came around to a premium brand, which we tried to avoid because, you know, you don't always have hundreds of pounds to spend on makeup, but we found a beautiful shade from Dior, which is a gorgeous peachy coral shade, which I have to say I think Dior make the best coral lipsticks. So we came around to it and we love it, so we stuck with it.
And it lasted really well, so
it did, so it was worth the investment. So this lipstick we apply with a brush, just so that we can get it as soft as possible. We don't want to have too much product on in one go. Again, layers, thin layers will make it last longer rather than sticking on one layer maybe from the bullet, although obviously we can do that later in the day. So this is a nice natural but defining colour. Just slightly smushed together. Okay. So that's the finished look. This has been a really lovely tutorial to make, and I want to thank the gorgeous Tara for sharing her wedding look. Please subscribe on YouTube, Facebook and Blog Loving to keep up with all the latest from Dressing Room Diaries.